Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Steel Division guide. Anyway, we're going to be going over first Pancerna. First, we're going to go over team game build, overall deck, and what's in it, and then we're going to move over the second half of the video to the 1v1 version for competitive pro level gaming. All right, guys. So let's go over the deck. What's it got in the recon tab? First of all, it's got a really good vehicle guy, the Cromwell. The Cromwell is super cost efficient. You're going to see them all throughout this deck. It's just super great tank. Road speed's pretty fast. Does a great job. Has 90 armor. Sorry, 70 armor, but 90 pen. So you can kill all the Panzer IVs that you have to engage. Usually, yeah, just a really good thing. 60 points, a little more expensive than the normal Cromwell, but in the recon tab, it's got the recon ability. Nothing to really write home about anywhere else. You have these little Jeeps. You can bring them with an MG if you really want to, 50 cal. But nothing you'd really want. Again, nothing in here you'd really want. Again, you can bring with 50 cal if you want. And then you don't get any snipers, which is a sad face. But again, you can bring them with a 50 cal if you really feel like you want it. You also get this, whatever this is. It has a Bren gun and an AT rifle. It's absolute trash. It dies instantly. You do get a lot of them, but I'm going to be real. I would not recommend. And you get Stuart Recon with a radio, which is really useful. Cromwell and these come with radios. Stuart, though, can't be bad. It's a little expensive. Usually normal Stuart's 30 points, but this is 40 to be in the con tab, but it does come with radio for any of your artillery. Infantry Rise, again, not a strong tab in infantry. You just get these, like, pretty much rifle squads. You have two versions, pretty much. You get these, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this, guys, what these units are called. We're just going to call the Riflemen. There's two classes to the Riflemen. Get your beautiful guys with two Bren guns and a Piat. Be wary, guys. Piats miss all the time, and they keep missing, and they never hit. They're so inaccurate. So you need, like, two of them, at least two shots to reliably hit anything. Difference between the two squads: 125 points, 120. Has no Piat, has one less Bren gun. But you know, so this squad's just straight up better, but you have less availability. Actually, you have the same availability, but just different costs. Interesting. ATYs, you get this like nice squad, 9 men. It comes with a Piat and a satchel charge, so that's really nice. Other than that, you also get some of these pretty much a defense group. They have two Bren guns. They're pretty good for defense. They're cheap, 15 points. You do get pretty good availability. Transport-wise, you can bring them 50 cal half tracks. In fact, you can bring almost all of these units in the 50 cal half track. Oh, this is another 50 cal half track, guys. It's actually the lighter caliber 7.6, just Browning machine gun. So yeah, get these like defense groups if you want. You also get these what are they called? Dragonuni? I don't know what they're called, guys. But they also, similar, comes with a Bren gun and a bazooka. A little cheaper, though, than the normal squad. Doesn't come with an extra Bren gun. You can see the difference, so. In stats, a little better. Looks like these guys can perform a little better, as you can see. And then you also get some flame troops. And these are actually really good flame troops. They're a 10-man squad, bigger than most other flame units. So you can't go wrong there. They don't have that much submachine guns, though. They only have 2. Mostly bolt-action rifles. Not great. Leader-wise, you have a good variety of leaders, but, again, not a really good variety, like activation point wise. You get 3 types of leaders. You get a satchel charge leader, you get your bazooka leader, and then you also get a leader with smoke. I recommend the leader with smoke in general. Smoke is pretty good to get the leader out of bad positions. Availability for all these infantry is 9, 18, 27. For defense units, phase lock to 9. If you double vet, 6. The Dragoonies, you get 6, 12, and 24. And then the flame troops phase locked to between A and B, 5 and 10. Leader cards, these are phase locked to A. These are also phase locked to A and B. And then these are phase locked to nothing. So pretty good availability for the leaders as well. Now the fun part of the deck. The juice, the butter. You get these beautiful Cromwells, guys. Cromwells are OP tanks. 70 armor, but 50 points. Really cheap, really cost efficient. For 50 points, this is so good. Also, you get the Cromwell, what is that, 5, 6, 7, the 7. Really good tank as well. Has way more armor, 120, 90. You don't get that much, you don't get many at all, guys. Only 2, you get 2, 4, or 8. And you only get 1 card of these, but you get plenty of Cromwell cards if you're feeling like you want Cromwells. You also get plenty of Fireflies here. You get 2 versions of the Firefly. You get the Firefly IC, and then you get the Firefly VC. Big difference between them? Not really. You can look at the stats here. They have pretty much the same penetration. One has a little bit more armor, the VC. That's the only difference we're paying for. Pretty much road speed is a little slower on the VC version, being that it has, I think, more armor. But you can see it's pretty pretty different. Not a big difference. But this is phase locked to A, so you have to bring these Fireflies in A. These ones can come in A, B, or C, and they have pretty good availability. 3, 6, And 9, these are going to be your Panther killer tanks. They're more cost efficient than a Panther for the most part. So bring them out. But be very careful though to enemy light AT and Pack 40s. You're going to lose these things left and right with like, they're just fragile. They're still a Sherman, guys. So be cautious of that. But again, if you vet them, you lose a decent amount of availability. You only lose 1, and then you lose a couple there, and you lose about, you know, just about a third. You also get normal Shermans here. You just get 4 cards of Shermans. What can you say about them? Just normal Shermans, pretty good stats. You can't go wrong with them. You also get Sherman leaders if you feel like it. You also get Cromwell leaders if you want it. And then you get Stewards, guys. Stewards are 30 points, really cost efficient. They mow down infantry, 2 Browning machine guns, just a light vehicle and move around. And they kind of make up for the infantry lack that you have. So I'd recommend bringing Stewards to the general part, like to help for CQC engagements. Also, they're great for dealing with armored car spam. Support tab wise, you get plenty of Vickers. Oh, you get 1 Vicker, plenty. You get the beautiful Cromwell assault gun. This thing's really good, 2,000 range. It doesn't do that much damage. It does the job, but it doesn't get a lot of killing power. But it'll help out against AT guns and assault guns for sure, and MGs. You get some mortars, you get your ammo. You'll get 1 card of these Cromwells. You get 3 choices of command. I bring the Dingo. It's fast, it's maneuverable, it has a little survivability, and they're not as expensive as these Cromwells. Not that you want your Cromwell to be fighting on the front line anyway. But the next best part of this deck is 17 pounders. 17 pounders, guys, are tank killers. 170 penetration, pretty good rate of fire as well. You see these 6 pounders as well. They just have AP round, no HE for any of these pieces. You also get Piat squads. These things are totally useless. Piats don't hit anything anyway, so don't bring them. Achilles are really good tanks, guys, and it's created by invisible people. Stats wise, they have a nice 170 pen here. They can fire HE with an F10 rounds, doesn't do too much damage. Decent availability 2, 4, and 6, but you do get 4 cards of them. So that is another option to make up for the lack if you don't want to use Fireflies. In fact, I think it's more costly to use more cost efficient to use these guys. You have a lot less armor, but again, if you're fighting a Panther, which you're going to probably be using these for, a Panther is going to pen your Firefly anyway, so you may as well use these because they're cheaper, and if you can trade 1-to-1 better. AA wise, you have a little bit of variety. Bofors, and Bofors. You also get some Crusader AA if you need some SPA if you want. You also get some Bofors 40 mil. I don't recommend these guys that well. Like, I think they're pretty fragile to enemy fire. That's just my experience. Let's get a Crusader mark this other AA gun. These Crusaders are pretty decent. You come with not so great availability for this one, but decent availability for these guys. You can see. But Bofors do the job, guys. Bofors are just strong, decent, strong AA. They can't go wrong there. Artillery-wise, plenty of sections. Sections are really good. They're crewed by nobody, again, kind of laziness by Eugen. They didn't even put people in them. But these guys can be used as AP if you want, 120 AP, HE. But they're artillery, guys. They're cracked shot artillery. You also have 1 card of off-map if you're feeling like it. It does not have a real gun on the Sherman. It's a fake. You can get, there's 3 shots. You can go A, B, or C if you feel like it. Get some 81mm mortars you want. You can also bring 107 mortars, pay a little bit more. I don't think 107s are that much better though. I stick with the 80mm mortars, a little cheaper anyway. You also get these 25 pounders if you're feeling like it. These things are pretty good too. They have a really good rate of fire, and they can put down a lot of artillery fire. And you can bring them with no ammo, unfortunate, but that's what it is. Air-wise, nothing. Okay, guys, Hurricanes are so slow. They die, and their resilience is medium, but they're slow. So be very careful with that. These things can be used as anti-tank planes. These rockets actually do a decent amount of damage. Spitfires are really good aircraft, really fast, but they die to AA instantly. So be very careful of that. Mustang in a very similar situation, even faster. It's even a faster aircraft than the Spitfire. Turn radius isn't as good, as you can see. Agility is not as good on this Mustang, but faster, so it can catch those bombers. But again, dies instantly to AA, so be careful. These Mosquitoes are thick boys. They will take a beating. They fly pretty high altitude, and then they come in and drop a bomb at a decent low range. I recommend them. They're really good, and you can head on some enemy fighters with this thing, and it will definitely kill them. These Hurricane fighters are trash. They just die instantly, like to everything. That's all I have to say to that. Especially on any head-on and enemy fighters. And now let's go into the 1v1 version. And overall, guys, if I had to say about what you should bring with this, though, you got to bring a lot of tanks to team games. You need to bring a lot of 17 pounders. And I would definitely bring Sextons to smoke off key engagements. It's going to be a deck that's for the open against enemy Panther decks. If you're fighting a King Tiger deck, your 17 pounders and your Fireflies are not going to perform. You will get destroyed. but this deck is so perfect. It has the Cromwells and the Shermans, especially the Cromwells, can't cancel out any Panzer IV spam, and it has the Fireflies to cancel out any Panther spam. So really effective. And your tanks overall are pretty cost efficient against a Panther deck. So that's the advantage. Anyway, let's go into the 1v1 version now. All right, 1v1. This is a little, there's a lot of variety, guys, you can do here. You can spam Cromwells or you can spam double vetted Shermans. It's really up to you. I prefer Shermans. I'm just more used to them. Cromwells, for me, are really good tanks as well. But I don't like how they don't suppress AT, light AT as quickly or enemy infantry squads. That's just me, though. But definitely bring Cromwells normally. If I had to change anything in this deck that you're looking at right now, I would definitely shift some of these Shermans over to Cromwells. Fireflies are a must-take. Also, if you need more tanks, the Achilles is another good alternative. You could just not bring any Fireflies, too, and just bring Achilles, too, to make up for that. I bring a lot of AT, light AT, for me in this deck version, just because I'm bringing a lot of Shermans. And that means I don't have a lot of Cromwells to deal with all those armored cars. So plenty of these light AT are useful. I bring I bring one vetted, Bofors, and A and B. I feels like that's enough AA. I have Spitfires to self-support, and some Hurricane Bombers to give out some pain as well. I bring out some Cromwells in B. That's where I bring them. I don't bring them in my only have 2 in A and another 6 in B. Just to bring up in the recon tab with some Stuarts in A as well, with some radios. Just for me though, you can. That's what I would change. You have to kind of play with like, what do you like more? More Cromwells, more Shermans, maybe more Fireflies. It's really up to you. I only bring 2 Fireflies in this deck. They are double vetted, so they're pretty darn nasty. I bring the leaders in your artillery tab. I would not bring in the infantry tab. Your infantry is pretty limited. I don't really think you can vet anything in this deck with infantry wise. It's just not going to work. You have so little infantry. You're really going to be relying on those highly vetted elite tanks that are going to mow people down to help you out. That's what I would do. This deck's all about maneuverability with the armor, and infantry play a secondary role in my opinion. So that's what I'd have to say about this. You want to keep in those engagement ranges where you're not in CQC with infantry. You want to fight around or have infantry tank support around that engagements with infantry. Again, I recommend this deck against a counter picking for against Panther decks. I think it's a really strong counter to Panther decks and Panzer IV decks. I mean, maybe not so much Panzer IV, but if you're going to build, like, if you're facing a deck that's more heavily orientated to Panthers, I would bring more Fireflies and more Achilles. If you're playing against a player that has a lot of Panzer IVs and Panthers, you definitely need to bring the Fireflies and Achilles, but I'd bring more Cromwells in general. Cromwells will trade pretty much 1-to-1 with Panzer IVs in medium to CQC range. Meaning that you're trading 50-point tanks to 70 to 75-point tanks, which is really nice as the game goes on longer and longer. And yeah, that's what I recommend. You also have really good fighters, so overall, with one Bofer or a couple Bofers out there with some Spitfire fights, you can run some really key air engagements. And these Hurricanes carry some huge payloads. Freaking 2, that's a huge payload. 227 kilogram bombs. That's huge. You also get pretty good cannon fire on these guys. Don't forget about that, guys. 420 mils is pretty strong. Spitfire wise, you can strafe a little bit. I don't recommend too much though. They're not the best strafers. Anyway, that's what I modified. If you modify anything in this deck right now, I'm looking at it. I had this built for a specific game that I was playing, but again, I rotate it all the time based off who I'm playing against and what the other player picks. But yeah, I like this deck for anti Panther play. Anyway, guys, thanks for let me know what you guys think about the deck. I'm really curious, and I'll see you guys around.